Have you ever felt the invisible weight of spiritual darkness pressing down on your home and family, despite your earnest prayers? You light ordinary candles seeking peace. You spray store-bought blessing sprays, hoping for protection, yet that sense of heaviness of spiritual struggle remains. What if I told you that right now, during this sacred season of Lent, Padre Pio has revealed a powerful spiritual secret that thousands have used to transform their lives completely? This isn't just another spiritual practice. It's a divine combination that the great mystic himself implemented during his lifetime of miraculous ministry. Before I share this life-changing secret that has transformed thousands of homes and families, you need to understand something crucial about Padre Pio's teaching. When this humble Capuchin friar spoke about spiritual warfare and protection, he didn't just speak from theological knowledge, he spoke from direct mystical experience. Padre Pio could see the spiritual realm with clarity that few saints in history have possessed. He witnessed angelic battles, confronted demonic presences, and understood exactly how the simplest sacramentals, when used with proper devotion and at the right moments, could unleash extraordinary graces in people's lives. This isn't ancient history. This is a living teaching that becomes especially powerful during the 40 days of Lent. The combination of blessed candles and holy water might seem simple, perhaps too simple to create miracles. That's exactly what Elena from Boston thought when she first heard about this practice 3 years ago. Her marriage was crumbling, her teenage son had fallen into dangerous company, and her own faith was hanging by a thread. "I had tried everything," she told me, her voice breaking with emotion. Counseling, support groups, even expensive retreats. But it was this humble practice, this sacramental combination that Padre Pio revealed, that began the transformation in my home. Within weeks, not months or years, things began to shift in ways I couldn't explain rationally. Her testimony isn't unique. Thousands have experienced similar transformations when they finally understood the 3 pivotal secrets to utilizing these sacramentals the way Padre Pio instructed. The first pillar of Padre Pio's teaching about blessed candles and holy water is timing, specifically the heightened spiritual potency during Lent. Why does this 40-day period matter so deeply? In the spiritual realm, Lent represents a time when the veil between heaven and earth grows thinner. As you participate in this season of purification, your spiritual sensitivity naturally heightens. Padre Pio explained that during Lent, our prayers and sacramental practices carry additional weight in the spiritual realm. The blessed candle, he would say, burns not just with physical flame during these 40 days, but with Christ's purifying fire. This isn't poetic language, it's spiritual reality. When you light a properly blessed candle during Lent, particularly on Wednesdays and Fridays, the traditional days of penance, you're not just performing a ritual, you're opening a channel of grace. The blessed candle represents Christ's light entering the darkest corners of your life, those areas where you've struggled the longest, where solutions seem impossible. But Padre Pio emphasized that the candle must be properly blessed by a priest who understands the gravity of this blessing. Not all blessed candles carry the same spiritual potency. The most effective ones are those blessed on Candlemas, February 2nd, or during the Easter Vigil, then saved specifically for use during subsequent Lenten seasons. The flame of such a candle, when lit with intentional prayer, becomes what Padre Pio called a lighthouse of grace in your home. This isn't superstition. It's about aligning yourself with the Church's ancient wisdom regarding sacred objects and sacred time. The candle becomes a physical anchor for heavenly intervention, especially when combined with the second element. Holy water, so common that we often pass by it thoughtlessly in church entryways, contains spiritual power that modern believers rarely fully tap into. Padre Pio revealed that holy water blessed during Lent carries special properties of spiritual cleansing and protection. It is not the quantity of water that matters, he would counsel those who sought his wisdom, but the faith with which you use even a single drop. The water, when blessed during this penitential season, becomes particularly effective against negative spiritual influences. In Padre Pio's mystical vision, he could actually see how holy water created a protective barrier that harmful spiritual entities could not cross. When used in conjunction with the blessed candle, particularly at the 3 key times of day we'll discover shortly, this humble water becomes a conductor of heavenly protection and blessing. The second pillar of Padre Pio's teaching involves the correct method of using these 2 sacramentals together. This isn't about complex rituals, it's about intentional, faith-filled application. Begin by finding a quiet space in your home where you won't be disturbed. Light your blessed candle with a simple prayer. Lord Jesus, as I light this blessed candle, let your light shine into every dark corner of my life and home. Allow the candle to burn for at least 12 minutes. Padre Pio emphasized that this duration allows the spiritual atmosphere to be properly affected. As the candle burns, take your container of holy water and, starting at your front entrance, trace small crosses on each doorway in your home, praying as you go. Through this holy water and by your precious blood, cleanse this home of all that is not of you. What many don't realize is that Padre Pio taught a specific pattern for this practice. The blessed candle should remain in the central living area of your home, while you move through each room with the holy water in a clockwise direction. Why clockwise? In Padre Pio's mystical understanding, this direction aligns with the heavenly movement of grace and creates a spiritual barrier that negative influences find difficult to penetrate. As you complete the circuit of your home, return to the blessed candle and sit quietly before it for at least 3 minutes, allowing the combined grace of these sacramentals to permeate your spirit. This isn't idle time. It's active receptivity to divine action. During these moments of silence, many have reported sensations of warmth, unexpected emotional healing, or sudden insights into problems that had seemed unsolvable. If you're still reading this and feeling a stirring in your heart about how this practice could transform your own struggles, I invite you to make this commitment right now. I will begin this blessed practice during Lent to transform my home and life. Type, I'm ready for this blessing. In the comments below, subscribe to this channel for more life-changing spiritual secrets, and share this video with someone who needs divine intervention in their life. The testimonies I've received from those who've applied Padre Pio's teaching are nothing short of miraculous, from financial breakthroughs to reconciled relationships, from physical healings to profound spiritual peace. The power isn't in the candle or water themselves, it's in your faith-filled use of these channels of grace, exactly as Padre Pio instructed. The third pillar of Padre Pio's teaching on blessed candles and holy water involves the 3 crucial moments during the day when this practice becomes most powerful. The first optimal time is dawn, specifically within the first hour after you wake. Padre Pio explained that the spiritual atmosphere is particularly receptive during this transition from night to day. The morning hour, he would say, is when heaven's dew falls most abundantly on receptive souls. During Lent, this morning application becomes even more potent. Light your blessed candle, use the holy water to make the sign of the cross on your forehead, and offer a prayer of protection and intention for the day. Many who follow this practice report a tangible difference in how their day unfolds. Fewer conflicts, unexpected opportunities, and a noticeable peace that surrounds them even in challenging circumstances. The second crucial moment comes at what Padre Pio called the hinge of the day, that midpoint, typically around noon or early afternoon when the day's momentum shifts. This is when spiritual attack often intensifies, particularly for those engaged in good works or attempting positive life changes. During Lent, these midday challenges can feel particularly acute as your spiritual enemy resists your growth. At this pivotal hour, relight your blessed candle. If it's not practical to keep it burning continuously, take a moment with the holy water and renew your morning dedication. Padre Pio advised making a specific request during this midday moment, naming the particular grace or breakthrough you seek. Be specific, whether it's strength against a particular temptation, guidance in a decision, or healing for a relationship. Articulate your need clearly while holding the faith that these sacramentals are creating a connection to divine assistance. The third and perhaps most powerful moment comes in the evening hours, specifically the hour before you retire for sleep. The nighttime, in Padre Pio's mystical understanding, is when spiritual battles often intensify and when the subconscious becomes most vulnerable to negative influences. During Lent, this evening application serves as both protection through the night and as spiritual preparation for the next day's journey. Light your blessed candle in your bedroom. Sprinkle holy water on your pillow with a simple prayer. Lord, through this blessed water, grant me your peace and protection through the night. Padre Pio revealed to his spiritual children that angels respond particularly strongly to this evening practice, often stationing themselves as guardians through the night hours. Those who faithfully follow this 3-time daily practice during Lent frequently report improved sleep, freedom from nightmares, and waking with unexpected insights or solutions to problems that had troubled them. What's truly remarkable about Padre Pio's teaching on blessed candles and holy water is how this practice creates a spiritual environment where divine intervention becomes not just possible but likely. Consider the case of Michael from Chicago, a successful businessman whose life looked perfect from the outside, but who privately battled severe anxiety and recurring panic attacks. Traditional treatments had provided limited relief. I was skeptical about something so simple, he admitted, but my grandmother had been devoted to Padre Pio, so out of respect for her, I decided to try it during last year's Lenten season. Following the exact method, blessed candle, holy water, the 3 daily applications, Michael experienced what he could only describe as a progressive lightening. By the 3rd week of Lent, his panic attacks had decreased dramatically. By Easter, they had ceased entirely. This spiritual practice works on multiple levels simultaneously. On the physical level, the ritual itself creates moments of mindfulness and peace in your day, opportunities to step out of the rushing stream of life and center yourself. Psychologically, it provides powerful anchors of meaning and intention. But Padre Pio's teaching goes far beyond these natural benefits. In the spiritual realm, these sacramentals, when used as directed, create what he called pockets of heavenly atmosphere within your home and life. These sacred spaces become landing pads for divine assistance, areas where angels can more easily operate and where divine inspiration can more readily reach your consciousness. During Lent, as you participate in the Church's season of purification, these pockets expand and deepen, creating lasting changes in your spiritual environment. What many don't realize is that Padre Pio often prescribed this sacramental practice specifically for seemingly impossible situations, cases where all human solutions had failed, for marriages on the brink of divorce, for addictions that had resisted all treatment, for financial situations that seemed beyond recovery, for chronic illnesses that confounded doctors. When human means have been exhausted, he would counsel, this is where divine means begin to operate most powerfully. The testimonies are remarkable. Maria from Phoenix had been estranged from her adult daughter for 7 years, no contact, no relationship with her grandchildren, just painful silence. After implementing this Lenten practice last year, focusing her intention on family healing, she received an unexpected phone call from her daughter on Palm Sunday. "Mom," her daughter said, "I don't know why, but I feel like it's time for us to talk." This wasn't coincidence, it was the fruit of Maria's faithful implementation of Padre Pio's teaching. Padre Pio emphasized that the blessing of the candle and water is not merely symbolic but carries real spiritual power. However, he was careful to explain that this power doesn't operate automatically or mechanically. It requires your active participation through faith. This is where many people misunderstand sacramentals. They aren't magical objects that work regardless of your internal disposition. Rather, they are physical conduits of grace that become activated through your faithful engagement. During Lent, as you enter more deeply into the spirit of repentance and renewal, your capacity to receive through these channels actually expands. It's like a radio becoming better tuned to receive broadcasts that are always being transmitted, but not always clearly received. The blessed candle in Padre Pio's teaching serves a dual purpose. First, it creates a physical reminder of Christ's presence. I am the light of the world. But beyond this symbolism, the blessed flame actually helps to purify the spiritual atmosphere of your home. Padre Pio could perceive with his mystical vision how the light from properly blessed candles created what he described as a luminous dome of protection over homes where they were used with faith. During Lent, as the Church enters into Christ's journey toward Calvary, this protective quality intensifies. The holy water serves as a complement to this, carrying with it the Church's specific prayers of blessing and exorcism. Padre Pio explained that when one person in a household faithfully implements this teaching, the graces spill over to family members, even those who don't share the same faith or practice. This ripple effect has been confirmed by countless testimonies. David from Minneapolis began the practice primarily concerned about his own struggles with depression. What I didn't expect, he shared, was how it would affect my teenage son, who wanted nothing to do with faith. About 3 weeks into Lent, he started asking questions about why I was lighting candles and doing that water thing. By Holy Week, he was asking if he could join me in the evening prayers. Something in the atmosphere of our home had shifted, in a way he could sense even if he couldn't explain it. This extension of grace to others is one of the most beautiful aspects of Padre Pio's teaching. As Lent progresses and you maintain the discipline of the blessed candle and holy water at the 3 key moments, you may notice an interesting phenomenon that Padre Pio often described to his spiritual directees. The practice itself becomes easier and more natural, requiring less conscious effort, while simultaneously deepening in its effects. It's as if the repeated action wears a groove in your spiritual landscape, creating a channel through which grace flows more readily. Many report that by the 4th week of Lent, the moments of lighting the candle and using the holy water become times they eagerly anticipate, rather than disciplines they must remember to perform. Anna from Seattle described it beautifully. It became like coming home to an old friend. These moments with the blessed candle and water, I found myself looking forward to them, sensing that something or someone was waiting for me in those quiet moments of prayer. By Holy Week, these simple acts had become the cornerstone of my day, anchoring everything else. As Easter approaches, and your Lenten journey with the blessed candle and holy water nears completion, Padre Pio offered specific guidance for transitioning this practice into ordinary time. The graces and protections established during these 40 days don't simply disappear, they can be maintained and even expanded through continued faithfulness. While the 3 times daily pattern may be reduced to once daily after Easter, the foundation laid during Lent creates lasting change in your spiritual environment. Padre Pio compared it to cultivating a garden. Lent is when you prepare the soil, plant the seeds, and establish the young plants. Easter and beyond is when you tend what has begun to grow, ensuring it bears fruit in season. Many who have followed his teaching report that the miracles and transformations that began during Lent often come to full fruition in the Easter season and beyond. What distinguishes Padre Pio's teaching from mere ritual or routine is its foundation in profound spiritual reality. He could see with mystical clarity how these simple sacramentals created actual changes in the spiritual atmosphere around believers who use them faithfully. "If you could see what I see," he once told a spiritual daughter who questioned the importance of these practices, "you would use holy water 100 times a day and keep blessed candles in every room." In our materialistic age, we've lost touch with this spiritual dimension of reality, the unseen realm that nonetheless profoundly affects our visible world. During Lent, as you've faithfully implemented this practice, you've been re-establishing this connection, opening your life to divine assistance that operates just beyond ordinary perception, but with very tangible effects in your daily experience. Don't wait for another crisis to implement this powerful teaching. The time to secure these blessings in your life is now, during this sacred season of Lent. Tonight, before you sleep, light your blessed candle, take your holy water, and begin this journey of transformation exactly as Padre Pio instructed. Remember the 3 key moments: morning, midday, and evening. Remember the clockwise circuit of your home. Remember to sit in quiet receptivity before the blessed flame. But most importantly, remember that these actions are not mere rituals, but channels of real relationship with divine help. As Padre Pio himself promised, Those who faithfully use these humble means that God has provided through His Church will never walk alone through life's challenges. Help from heaven is always closer than you think. May your remaining Lenten journey be filled with unexpected graces and miracles that continue long after Easter has come. When you use it to trace the sign of the cross, you're not just performing a gesture, you're applying a spiritually potent element to physical spaces and to yourself. What's particularly powerful about this combination is how it affects not just your physical space, but your interior landscape as well. Many who practice Padre Pio's teaching report not just external changes, improved relationships, resolved situations, physical healings, but profound internal transformation. Areas of spiritual darkness that had persisted for years, persistent doubts, habitual sins, emotional wounds begin to heal and lighten. Carmen from San Diego described it this way: "It wasn't just that my circumstances changed, though they did dramatically. It was that I changed. Areas of bitterness I had nursed for decades somehow melted away. I found myself able to forgive people I had sworn I would never forgive. And it all began during that Lent when I finally took Padre Pio's teaching seriously. This inner transformation often becomes the foundation for external miracles that follow. Padre Pio was clear that while this practice is powerful at any time, it takes on special significance during periods of spiritual transition or challenge in your life. Lent, being the Church's designated time of purification and preparation, naturally amplifies the effects. But there are other moments when you should be particularly diligent in applying this teaching. When beginning any new venture or project, when making important decisions, when facing health challenges, when experiencing unusual spiritual opposition or temptation, and especially when working to break long-standing negative patterns in your life. These are what Padre Pio called hinge moments, times when your faithful use of these sacramentals can help swing the door toward positive spiritual outcomes. The practice requires perseverance, especially if you don't see immediate results. Padre Pio would often counsel people to commit to the full 40 days of Lent before evaluating the fruits. Divine timing, he would explain, rarely matches our impatience. This is where faith becomes essential. You're not just going through motions or testing a technique. You're entering into a relationship with divine assistance that unfolds according to a wisdom greater than your own. Some experience dramatic breakthroughs within days. For others, the changes come gradually, almost imperceptibly, until they look back and realize how far they've traveled. Jennifer from Toronto faithfully practiced this discipline through an entire Lenten season, despite seeing no apparent change in her desperate financial situation. "It was discouraging," she admitted. "I almost gave up." But on Easter Monday, she received an unexpected job offer that not only resolved her immediate crisis, but opened a career path she had never imagined possible. What's particularly beautiful about Padre Pio's teaching is how it connects you to the communion of saints, that great cloud of witnesses who cheer on your spiritual journey. Padre Pio himself, now in glory, takes a special interest in those who implement this practice he so strongly advocated during his earthly ministry. Many report sensing his spiritual assistance, sometimes even his presence, as they faithfully follow this Lenten discipline. Robert from Austin described it this way: "I never had any particular devotion to Padre Pio before trying this practice, but about 2 weeks into Lent, I had this overwhelming sense that I wasn't alone in my prayers, that someone was intensifying them, adding their own intercession to mine. It wasn't until later, when I saw a picture of Padre Pio, that I realized who had been helping me." This connection to the communion of saints adds another dimension to the practice, linking your prayers and needs to the powerful intercession of those who stand in God's direct presence. Padre Pio taught that the blessed candle and holy water create what he called sacred punctuation in your day, moments that interrupt ordinary time and connect you to eternal realities. This sacred punctuation becomes especially meaningful during Lent, as you journey with Christ toward the cross and resurrection. The rhythm of lighting the candle and using the holy water at the 3 key daily moments creates a frame around your activities, sanctifying everything that happens within that frame. Work challenges, family interactions, personal struggles, All of these take place within the protective and blessing-filled environment you've created through faithful practice. This doesn't mean difficulties disappear. Lent itself commemorates Christ's suffering after all, but it means you face them with supernatural assistance and within a context of meaning and purpose. The practice affects not just your own spiritual journey, but creates a blessing that extends to others connected to you.